dance. Let me see you move.
Love never felt so good. Can't die, it never could. Not like you. Oh.
Hello, everybody, and welcome aboard to Local Matters, where living local never felt so good. I'm Dottie Rimsey. You know, the Amtrak station on 4th Street in Anniston could soon have new life running through it. Literally. We're talking about the Rails to Trails project. So join us for the details on that when we come back with more Local Matters. Hi, everybody, and welcome aboard to Local Matters. I'm Dottie Rimsey. You know, for several years now, thousands have enjoyed the beauty and the solitude of the Chief Ladoga Trail and the connections between the towns. Most recently, officials have discussed extending the trail. So joining me on the set of Local Matters to talk about that particular project and the recently discovered sinkhole in the trail is the chairman of the Chief Ladoga Trail, Rails to Trails project, that is. It's Pete Conroy. So welcome aboard, Mr. Pete Conroy, on the set of Local Matters. Thank you.
Hello, Dottie. How are you?
Hello, good. Did you ride your bike down here?
I did not, but I wish I had ridden my bike. I always wish I could go on a bike ride.
Yeah, because see, this is the thing. So I understand, and that's what we're gonna. This is great to start off talking about it. I mean, soon people will be able to ride. Maybe not all the way to Oxford, but as far as the south part of Anniston.
Yeah.
That's a project that's looming right now. Talk to us about that project, Pete Conroy.
Yes, and thanks for having me on.
You're so welcome.
The Chief Ladoga Trail goes back decades, and
Wow.
for me it started when former State Senator Doug G. had read something in the Birmingham News about funds being available for the conversion of old railways to bicycle paths.
Yeah.
And at the time the concept was rail banking, so basically you could retain the corridor for infrastructures like telephone lines or fiber and that kind of thing. But the higher use was to, after a trailway was abandoned, then you would pave it.
Right.
And so the Chief Ladoga was one of the very first of its kind in the nation. It started in Piedmont.
Right.
And at first there were people who didn't like the idea.
Right.
And there were folks that I remember were very uncomfortable with the thought of having strangers in the backyard. I totally understand that.
Yes,
and
right.
now as we extend into Anniston, some folks are thinking, well, this will be a little odd to have strangers in my backyard.
Yes, right.
And but in all cases that I'm aware of, it's turned from fear to fun. And
Wow.
the same people that had signs that say keep out, now have signs that say free water or use our picnic table.
Wow.
And the commonality in all of this is people wanting exercise and getting out into the environment, enjoying the outdoors, and really feeling good about themselves through exercise and just a good walk.
And that's a great thing to do. So now people are more open to that. But again, you mentioned this. From what I understand, it's about 17 years now.
Yeah.
That this has been, a project that's been ongoing and ongoing. So you mentioned that it started because it starts in Piedmont, right?
Yes.
Is that where it goes now?
It started in Piedmont, and then it went south, and then it's gone north, so it finally now connects all the way to the state of Georgia.
I was getting ready to say, I thought that you could actually that when it's all finished, that you'll be able to get on your bike and ride. Will I be able to ride to Atlanta?
Yeah.
Yeah, see?
You bet.
But I don't know if I will be able to ride to Atlanta because
Yes, you would, because
I am
remember-
not the one that'll ride a bike that far.
But remember, it's flat. It's railroad grade. You're not pulling these big steep
I
hills.
might
It's
could do
all
it then.
railroad grade.
I might could do that
And so you'll
then.
never have more than a 3-4% incline, and it makes it really doable.
Wow,
Yeah.
to be able to ride that far. I was going to say, because how many miles is that?
It's 95 altogether, and with this extension, we'll be over 100, which will make it the longest paved bicycle path in America, and it's pretty cool.
And this is actually wonderful because, again, as a country, we are much more health conscious in terms of how we live, how we exercise, how we eat. So this is absolutely a beautiful concept. And you guys right there, before people were able to really grab and embrace it, you were right there in the beginning of it.
In many ways, yeah, but in other ways, we're just copying good ideas from other places.
And that's what you do, though. And that's why you do have to go outside your own back door so that you can see what other people are doing and you can bring that back home.
One of the catchphrases that I love to use is these bicycle paths connect places and people.
Yes, it does.
Because no, I didn't ride my bike here. I was in my car and I was zipping over the bypass, and when I leave, I'll zip back. But when you're on a bicycle, the pace slows, and you can talk to people, meet people, and it's a beautiful thing to meet folks from far away, all enjoying the same thing.
So tell me, I know just about a week or so ago, many people met down at the Anniston Meeting Center to talk about the extension that is projected to sort of end at the 4th Street there on Noble Street, right there at the Amtrak station. How do you envision that project? What will it do for that entire community right there? It seems to be sort of it's almost a ghost town, if you will.
Well, it's going to be a great thing. I know for a fact that a similar phenomenon took place actually in several places as we built the Chief Ladoga Trail. There were several places that probably needed a little sprucing up, and other places that were beautiful but had never really been discovered. The same thing will be at the terminus of the Chief Ladoga Trail, or we can call it the Gateway, because it depends if you're going to ride north or ride south. It's either the beginning or the end. But I predict that when the Chief Ladoga is extended through this really great concept that the city of Anniston has been working on, the mayor and the city council and the planning staff, Toby Bennington, Brian Johnson, they've all really they've wrapped their brains around how to do this and how to get funding for it at a time when funding is tricky. But now it looks like the engineers have a plan that will take the bicycle path to Chief Ladoga right to the train station. So now, in theory, Dottie, not only could you hop on your bike, but then after you ride to Atlanta, you put it on the train and then you ride back, or the other way around.
Right.
And so it's really going to be an added dimension that I think the people in Atlanta will love. And there are millions of people there every year that are looking for something to do on the weekend.
Yes.
And that's what we're all about.
Right. And I think it's going to be great for that particular area, again, not only to have it in right there, but that's going to be a big booster for that particular area. And hopefully that something will happen, because that's also been talked about for years now, that the Amtrak station will itself be revitalized, renovated, maybe bring in the Greyhound bus station back, and just really making that a one-stop shop, if you will, in terms of transportation needs.
There will be many, many people all in need of everything from water to helmets and bicycle parts, and we already have a good retailer in town and others on the way. But the more people who are coming into town, the more revenue should be collected. And I predict there will be gardens and flowers and people on front porches waving at bicyclists, bicyclists waving back. And you know, it's really going to be a cool thing.
Well, when we come back, we've got to go to break right now. When we come back, I want to talk more about the extension for the trail, but I also want to talk about, you mentioned earlier about the engineers and what they're doing. I want to talk about the engineers in terms of this of some sinkholes that have been that have happened to the trail most recently. So we're going to talk about that when we come right back with more Local Matters. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Local Matters. I'm Dottie Rimsey, where living local never felt so good. Never felt so good to be sitting here this morning talking with Pete Conroy. We have been talking about all of the great things that are taking place with the Chief Ladoga Trail, and we talked about the good stuff, but now, unfortunately, we've got to go and talk about some bad stuff. So welcome, Pete. We talked about this during the break, from good to bad.
Yes. Well, thank you, Dottie Downer.
Dottie Debbie Downer.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, we got to go and talk about the bad things right now.
Yeah.
Just recently, sinkholes have been discovered on the trail. That's not good.
Right.
Because there are projects that are, and different activities that are expected to take place, and that's not going to be good. So we've got to get that up and going soon. Talk to us about what you know on that particular end about what is going to be taking place with these big sinkholes that are happening.
Absolutely. Well, Mother Nature has brought us an awful lot of rain, and oftentimes we're begging for rain, and in this instance we had just too much in one particular spot. It's just one very small area in Jacksonville,
in
north of
Jacksonville.
Warren Drive, but
Yeah.
south of the Jacksonville High
Yeah.
School. A little sinkhole turned into a bigger sinkhole.
Yeah, but now it's a bigger one.
Now I think we might have 5 sinkholes, and the images that we've seen look really horrible. So the city of
Yes.
Jacksonville is now coordinating with the Calhoun County engineers. Jacksonville brought in an engineering firm from Jacksonville, basically to assess the extent to the problem, and they're trying to find bedrock. It's my understanding that those reports will be available later this week, and when that happens, they will know how to fix the problem. Our hope is that it's as simple as what's seen. My fear is that it's way more complicated than what's seen.
I know it, because you think, now we know it's been raining quite a bit, and so that particular area was affected. But then when you start realizing that and the problem seems to be worsening, so then it's gonna. I would imagine you're right, when the engineers. The engineer firm is actually chosen to do the work. They're going to go in there to see what's causing that, and so it might not just be a quick, thing that they can do overnight.
Yeah, I'm fearful that this could cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and but inevitably the trail will be repaired in that one small spot, and it would be a continuous run from Anniston over to Atlanta once again. But for now, the trail in that very small section, is closed indefinitely.
That's what I was going to ask you. Does this affect the entire trail? Are people going to be able to get out there now and continue to walk and ride the bike?
Oh, yeah.
What is it? How does it impact other people?
It's really just that one small section that is closed, and we're working right now on a reroute. Basically, that would give folks the option of leaving the Chief Ladoga Trail. Jacksonville is putting up signage. There'll be arrows, and so there will be. It's kind of like a detour, but it's not a forced thing.
So it's not like just because that happened, people are going to be saying, "Oh, don't even bother to come because we got a problem. Just stay off of it and don't come."
But it will remind folks how beautiful the Chief Ladoga Trail is, because when you're doing the little bypass deal that's being worked out right now, you'll be sharing the road with vehicles, and the beauty of the Chief Ladoga Trail is no vehicles.
Yes.
And you're all by yourself with pedestrians, and it's very safe. So in that little section, the little reroute, it's important for people to remember they're sharing the road, and they need to be extra safe.
So when people are out there, tell me this, Pete, when people are out there riding on the Chief Ladoga Trail, are there different places? Let's say you're out there and you're really enjoying the ride and the beauty of it all, but let's say you feel sick. Talk to me about some of the different amenities that are out there on the trail. I mean, it's one thing to be in the nature, but then there's another thing to be in nature, and there you are, something's happening to you. What else is out there?
Yeah, that's a really great point. One of the great things that we've done through the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office and Calhoun County 911 is to make the entire trail accessible through 911. So it's real important you take your cell phones, and it's real important you go with a friend. And most people do not do the entire trail. Most people do a section.
Well, I know I couldn't do a entire trail. I probably couldn't even do
Yeah, you probably could.
fourth of a trail.
Maybe just more slowly than some of the
I
other
think
folks,
it start
right?
off slowly because I've got to work up my endurance.
That's
definitely.
right. Yeah, all of us do.
Yeah, definitely. So what other? So you mentioned that people should not go alone. Should have their cell phones with them. Are there bathroom facilities? What is out there for them?
Yeah, it's good to map your day out, because there are not bathroom facilities everywhere, but you're going through Anniston and then Jacksonville and then Piedmont, and there are stores and there are retail outlets and great places to eat and places to go to the bathroom.
Great places to eat? I didn't realize that. Are there restaurants?
I'm telling you what, there is a new restaurant. I don't mean to sound like this is a commercial, but it's the Solid Rock Cafe in Piedmont, and they cater to bicyclists. They now rent bikes.
Did not know that.
And have craft beers.
Did not know that. So look, if you learned anything new today, we learned that is a new restaurant. That's not that we're giving a plug in to them.
Sure,
but
and like it on Facebook, and also don't forget to like the Chief Ladoga Trail on Facebook. We have, I think, over 1,000 people that follow the Chief Ladoga Trail, and we update folks regarding the good things and the bad things that happen on occasion. And still remember, it is absolutely one of the safest things and safest places you could ever go. In all of my years in my association with the Chief Ladoga Trail, there's been some accidents. There's been some people that have had problems with their bicycles and one or two crashes, but no serious
And speaking of that,
issues.
I may be giving someone a great idea to start a business. Tell me this: what if you decided to say, I really want to go and just take part and want to ride, but I don't have a bike, I don't have a helmet.
That's a great idea.
That's a great idea. Is there a place there where a person could go out there and just rent a bike and a helmet?
If anyone, at the Solid Rock Cafe in Piedmont, and also there are, you could go to other places to rent bicycles for sure. But if someone watching us right now would be interested in creating a shuttle service, that would be the simplest little business ever.
It sure would be.
And you would just cater to people and drive them where they need to go. It's kind of like Uber for bicycles.
There we go.
And it's a great idea. I hope somebody takes you up on it.
Well, maybe, who knows? Maybe,
Tell them to call me because
that's right.
I can help them get started. We'll
All right.
connect them to the Chamber of Commerce, and it's a good business.
All right. Well, we've got to go to break. We'll be right back with more Local Matters. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Local Matters, where living local never felt so good. I'm Dottie Rimpsey, and it's never felt so good to be sitting here talking with Pete Conroy about all of the wonderful things that are going on with the Chief Ladoga Trail, both good, and we're having a little problems right now with some sinkholes, but we're on it. And so Pete Conroy is not only involved in that particular aspect of the county, but he's also involved in so many other things. I mean, he's got like 5, 6 jobs. So welcome, welcome aboard, Pete Conroy. You are involved in so many other different projects throughout the county, and they're very important projects to the county. Talk to us about that.
Well, thanks for the opportunity. I often feel like the luckiest guy to have this job with Jacksonville State University.
Okay.
It allows me.
Because before I cut you, because you are actually so this is what it is. It's the Environmental Policy and Information Center at JSU. And I've known that you were been there for quite some time, and I used to always wonder, what does that mean? What does that mean?
I oftentimes don't know myself. But it is my office at Jacksonville State University. It is a department, and then under the department called the Environmental Policy and Information Center, we have special projects that we work on, all with an emphasis on economic development for the region.
Okay.
And so we work with many partners, lots of federal partners, state partners, community partners, industry, and educators.
Okay.
And so every day is a little different. But some of the projects right now that are absolutely on the front burner would be this Longleaf Studios, and we're working very hard to create the film industry in the state of Alabama.
Right, and that's going to be great because Georgia's well ahead of the game on that one. And not to say, look, Debbie Dottie Downer, Georgia is really there, and so this is going to be great for us, particularly in this region.
Absolutely, we're so close to Atlanta, which now is the fastest growing film town in the world.
Yeah, I just had a few folks on just last week talking about it. The local people that are doing well there.
That's fantastic, and billions of dollars come out of these film industry communities, and we just need to play in the game. So I'm very fortunate to be working with.
Well, here I am. Make sure you get me. I'm going to be a star, everybody. Yes.
Of course, you already are. And but I'm working with State Senator Del Marsh, State Representative Richard Lindsay, Nisa Miranda from the University of Alabama, and then our own Dr. Bill Fielding from the College of Commerce and Business at JSU. That's the committee that makes up this group that's called the Northeast Alabama Entertainment Initiative.
It's going to be great.
And together we've built the studio, working on workforce, working on equipment rentals, and everything else that creates this multifaceted business. So,
and who says nothing's going on around here? Wow.
Well, that's happening. And if anyone would want to come up to see this giant studio that we have at JSU, it's pretty cool. It's a green screen that's 20 feet tall, and so you can make some movie magic there for sure.
Wow, yeah.
But most important, we have JSU students engaged in the film industry now. Some have jobs like on sets now.
Yeah, good deal.
And but that's one of the concepts that we really are working on for economic development.
Okay.
And another one that is completely different but overlaps is Freedom Riders Park.
Okay.
And some folks remember very well 1961 right here in Anniston.
Well, I don't. Look, I'm glad to say that this is one where I'm saying I wasn't born yet.
Of course, you're but a child. I, however.
You were just a mere child there, but I wasn't born yet.
Well, I was a kid in Pennsylvania, really too young to understand it,
Yeah,
but
right.
I remember it from my
Yes.
black and white TV
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Pennsylvania.
yeah.
It was a internationally known issue that happened, who knew, in Anniston.
In Anniston,
It was a really tough day that had very positive outcomes. You probably know that the local library integrated through a petition,
Yes.
and attention was given to civil rights.
Yes.
And it's become a point for healing, which is a really important thing nowadays.
Yes. Yeah, dude, we need some healing bad.
Well, good things came from a bad day, but if you remember the story, Hank Thomas, the Freedom Rider, one of the only living Freedom Rider from that bus,
Okay,
African American man, 19 at the time. He had been on the bus, and in his very deep voice, he said, "Had I stayed on the bus, I would have died. Had I got off the bus, I'd be beaten." He says, "I
Right.
chose the latter." He gets off the bus.
Yes.
He was beaten. And after he had been beaten, this wonderful little girl, Janie Forsyth, brought him water. And so the little white girl's giving the black man water. And it, in and of itself, is a sign of hope.
A sign of hope.
So we're looking to have Freedom Riders Park on the very same ground that happened, in conjunction with the Greyhound bus station in Anniston.
Yes.
And the good news is that the National Park Service, Senators Shelby, as well as Congressman Rogers and Adderholt, we're working with Terry Sewell, John Lewis, so many others, and we're all looking at the possibility of this national park that would be called Freedom Riders National Historic Park.
Oh, that's going to be great.
Well-
and it's going to be wonderful. It just shows too that even when there's a lemon, if you just squeeze it and cut it, you can make lemonade
That's
out
right.
of it. You can definitely make lemonade out
And
of
I
it.
think that it's exactly the kind of thing we're doing. One last thing, and it's another national park, and years ago we were successful in establishing Little River Canyon National Preserve. It's a type of national park. And Dottie, last year we found out that the economic impact from that national park, where JSU has its facility in the Fort Payne area, $15 million.
Wow.
And so these national parks not only bring positive recognition to an area, but they bring cash. And these are the kinds of things we're trying to do.
All right. So who says nothing's good's happening around here?
We
All
got
right.
it. We got it.
We got it. We got it. And we hope that we have you too, and we'll have you back here again next week, because if it's local, it matters. Goodbye, everybody.